Hi, ladies. I hope you're having a beautiful day today. It is not so beautiful in Massachusetts. I'm actually sitting in front of a window, and it is a very blustery day and raining off and on, and it's pretty chilly. So it's the perfect day to do a video for you all. And I am really excited about doing this video with you guys today because it's a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. It has made such a big difference in my life, and really got me on my path to, optimal health, really just trying to get as healthy as I can be and heal my body from all of the imbalances I had going on, and that is the ketogenic diet. So I want to talk about why I use a whole foods ketogenic approach with my clients in my life, and also like a lot of my family members are also choosing this way of eating because they've gotten a lot of benefits from it. They've seen how well I have been doing on it, how well my fiance has been doing on it. And so I have a lot of family members on it too, and they're getting amazing results as well. So I really wanted to share this with you guys because, like I said, it's really changed my life. The ketogenic approach to nutrition is really just a tool. It's a puzzle piece, and there are a lot of puzzle pieces that need to go together in order to heal your adrenals, reboot your adrenals, and balance your sex hormones, your thyroid hormones, calm your autoimmune diseases, things like that. But this particular puzzle piece was the key to fitting all of the other ones together later on. And it just, like I said, it really changed my life. What it did is it gave me the motivation and the energy to change my situation. Many of you may have already heard my story, and I'm not going to go into excessive detail. I know we don't have time for all of that, but for me, I was depressed, I was moody, I was exhausted all the time, I was sleeping like crap, and I was miserable. I was just plain miserable. And I wasn't eating a lot. And when I was eating, I wasn't eating very well. So I was just starved of nutrition. And so when I made the decision to just try keto, because my fiance had been doing it for a while and he was doing amazing. And I'm not just talking about weight loss, because keto is great for weight loss too. But he was doing amazing in other areas. Like, I noticed that he had all this energy. He was feeling great. He was sleeping great. He even seemed sharper, and like his mind seemed sharper, and he was just having such amazing results from it. And here I am sitting on the couch, miserable, just, tired and all of that. And so I did some research and I decided to try it, and it just changed everything for me. And I kind of went down the rabbit hole with it and started just researching like crazy and listening to reputable podcasts and all of this stuff. And it led me into a bunch of confusion, because there's a lot of conflicting information out there, and there's a lot of conflicting opinions, and there's also different ways to do the ketogenic diet. So it took me a while, but I kind of like pieced it all together and figured out an approach that would really utilize this way of eating, and utilize food as medicine. And I truly believe that food can be medicine. It is medicine if you are eating whole foods and you're doing it appropriately. So it really, like I said, it really changed my life. I probably said that like 5 times, but it really did. Where I was a year ago and where I am today is completely different. I've left my job. I started this business as a health coach because it just really stirred a passion in me to help other women that are going through what I went through feel better, like find a solution to feel better and really heal, because I was miserable for way longer than I needed to be. And I just don't want anyone else to have to go through this longer than they need to. And I would say I wish I had started it sooner, but I gotta say, like, the lessons I learned from going through what I went through, I really wouldn't turn that back, because it gives me a different perspective and really helps people more effectively. But now I'm doing this business. I'm a full-time student, and I'm going back for a health psychology degree. And so my life has just completely changed, and I'm so much happier. And so I just really want to boast about the ketogenic approach with you guys, because I really do believe in it. I really do think that it can help people. And so I want to dive in. So there may be some of you that are watching this video that aren't familiar with the ketogenic diet. Maybe you've heard about it, but you don't really know what it's about or anything like that. So I want to cover it quickly. So the ketogenic diet is a high-fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrate diet. And basically what you're doing is you're consuming fat as fuel rather than sugar. So your body goes into what's called ketosis. And ketosis is when your body is breaking down the fat it's going to use for fuel, it breaks it down into ketones. And then those ketones are what actually fuels your body and your brain rather than the glucose. So you go from being a sugar burner to a fat burner, and you actually burn your own body fat for fuel, which is what we were designed to do. Honestly, we wouldn't be able to do it if we weren't designed to do it. The thing is our body does need glucose. It's essential for our survival. Our brain needs it. Our cells need it. It's definitely important that we have glucose in our body. But here's the thing, is you don't have to get the glucose from carbohydrates. Your body can make its own glucose through gluconeogenesis. And gluconeogenesis is a process where the body actually breaks down the protein and fat that you eat and turns it into glucose for you. And so then that's what it uses, that's what it circulates through your body. A lot of people think, they might hear that and they think that, oh, that means that you're breaking down your muscle for glucose because your body needs it. But it's actually, ketogenic is actually muscle sparing, because your body is going to break down the protein and the fat that you eat first. It's not going to touch the muscle unless you're not eating enough. You're not getting enough protein and fats, and certainly not enough carbohydrates, so your body will go to the muscle. And here's the thing, guys, that really no matter what diet you're doing, you still run the risk of your body tapping into that muscle and using it. So if you're not eating enough protein, if you're eating like a high carbohydrate diet and you're really not getting enough protein, then guess what? Your body's going to go to the muscle for the proteins that it needs. So it really just doesn't matter. Really what matters is that you're getting enough protein and fat for the gluconeogenesis, and you are going to have some carbohydrates because you definitely want vegetables and stuff like that. You need them. So this diet is very muscle sparing, which I think is really important and really amazing about it. So why is it a high fat diet? One of the main reasons is the ketones, because the ketones, like I said, they actually will fuel your body and fuel your brain. And the thing is your brain loves ketones, and it's a more efficient, steady energy that you'll get. So you will no longer get the roller coaster that sugar gives you. So you'll no longer have those dips and valleys. You won't be reaching for the snacks at 2 or 3 in the afternoon or the sugar or anything like that, because you're going to feel energized throughout the entire day, and that's a beautiful thing. Another reason why high fat is fat has so many health benefits, and I'm going to go into a little bit of that later. I'm not going to really dive deep into it because it could be like a 4-hour video if I did, because fat is really amazing. So I'm gonna touch upon some of the health benefits a little later. And then why low carb? So when we don't eat carbs, it keeps our insulin low and steady, and that's really what we want, because when our insulin is high, that's when we can't burn body fat. You will have constant need for sugar. You'll have cravings and stuff like that. You'll have inflammation. There's a lot of negative things to having high insulin. You really want your insulin to be low and steady, and that is going to result in steady blood sugars. So you're going to have fewer cravings, if any at all, honestly, except for like maybe cravings like that your body's telling you need a specific vitamin or nutrient or something like that. But you're not going to have the cravings for sugar and for bread and pasta, especially when you're stressed and tired, because that's when those cravings come out the most. And so I'm guessing that because probably all of you, I know that the people in my Facebook group are all stressed and tired. So carbohydrates is not good in that type of environment. And of course, like I said, less inflammation when you have normal low insulin levels. So that's just like a brief explanation about what the ketogenic diet is. And now I'm going to talk about 5 of the reasons why I choose keto on a daily basis. There are definitely many more reasons, but these are just 5 that I wanted to share with you. And so the first one is energy. And so I know I already talked about ketones and how they provide energy and how it's a steadier, efficient energy source than sugar. It's better for the brain. And so that was the first thing that I noticed was my energy. So I went from having like no energy, none, like just tired all the time, didn't want to do anything. I actually believed I was lazy, to having energy that, I mean, I could get up early, walk my dogs, make an entire day through work, a very stressful day through work, come home and, do stuff around the house, eat dinner, and I felt energized the whole time. And even when I was feeling super stressed, I still had at least that energy to get me through. And that was something I was not getting with what I was doing before. And in fact, I don't ever remember having really good energy ever, because I've always been a sugar burner and I've always had a high carbohydrate diet. And so I've always had issues with my energy level. It just really, really tanked over the past few years. But so that was the first thing I noticed was a change in my energy. And it made a big difference in how I function daily. And also, I actually didn't include this in my list, but it actually also helped with my sleep. It improved my sleep. It took a little bit for my body to kind of adjust and transition and everything, but it really did improve my sleep. And so that was big, and that's huge if you're really trying to heal your body from anything, because you need that rest and digest mode to be able to heal and balance and work on your immunity and maintenance functions and stuff like that. And you can't do that if you're constantly in a sympathetic response type of situation. And so if you're not sleeping and you're stressed out and all of that stuff, then guess what? Your body is not able to rest and digest and heal. So energy was huge. My second was the fat health benefits. So one of the big ones and the obvious ones of that is that it tastes yummy, and it also satiates you. So you don't have to eat as much, because fat provides 9 calories per gram of energy, whereas sugar, carbohydrates, is only 4 calories per gram. So you're getting a lot more energy from the fat, and you don't need to eat as much, and it satiates you. That and protein, of course, satiates you. So I don't need to snack anymore. As long as I'm eating, whole meals, with an adequate amount of fat, protein, and vegetables, then I don't need snacks. I'm not hungry. And that's a beautiful thing too, because if you are somebody that has been on a higher carbohydrate diet, then you understand that you basically have to eat every 3 hours or so, because you're hungry, your energy dips, and honestly, you never really feel satiated. And that has a lot to do with the hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin, and I won't go into all that. I've talked about that in other videos. So one of the main important benefits of fat, is you need it to balance your hormones. It's required to balance your hormones, because what happens is adrenal fatigue, and honestly other types of conditions like thyroid issues and autoimmune issues and stuff like that, but mainly adrenal fatigue causes sex hormone imbalances, even thyroid imbalances, and it all depends on how long you let it go on. And that is one of the building blocks to producing your hormones. You have to have that to produce hormones. So along with amino acids that you got in proteins and cholesterol, and yes, we need cholesterol to make hormones as well. And we get cholesterol from fat, and we can also get cholesterol, our body makes it. And I know a lot of people are afraid of cholesterol, and there's a lot of new research and studies coming out about cholesterol, because it doesn't play the negative role that we used to believe it does. And I don't want to go into excessive detail about cholesterol, because that honestly could be like a whole nother video on its own. But you need cholesterol and you need fat in order to produce the hormones. And you have to produce all your hormones in order for them to be balanced. So fat is super important. It makes up our cells. Cholesterol makes up our cells. So we really, really, really need fat. And the thing is many of us grew up in the 90s. I was a teenager in the 90s, so I was a very impressionable teenager. And so I was impressionable during the time of low fat and fat free, when that was a huge explosion, and also like really thin women and stuff like that. And so I've always been afraid of fat, super afraid of fat, and that was one of the hardest parts for me, was really getting over eating fat and how much fat I really needed to be eating, because I actually believed I didn't like it, and that's not true. Fat's actually amazing, and I really do like it. So if you are like me and you grew up in the 90s, or even if you were, even an adult in the 90s and that whole low fat, fat free craze came out, what followed that was a huge amount of health problems, and one of them being hormones. It plays a huge role in how we feel and how we function. And so if you have imbalanced hormones, you're not going to have energy. You're not going to sleep well. You're not going to have a stable mood. You're going to experience a lot of negative side effects because of that. So fat is really important, and getting enough quality fats in your diet is super, super important. And I've actually did a video about fats specifically. You could check out my YouTube channel. Just search in YouTube Charmaine Carnes, and you'll be able to find it. I also did a Facebook Live, and you can go to the saved videos on my business page or in the group, and I included a list of healthy fats, and that's all the healthy oils, the animal fats, the oils that you want to stay away from, and like avocados that are really great for you to eat, and olive oil, so all the healthy fats. And so I have that list. you can, if you can't find it, let me know. Just put in a comment to this video, and I will either provide a link to the video, or I will just provide the link to the document, depending. I'm not sure which one will be easier, so I'll figure it out. And also, if you have any questions, please also put your questions in the comment box below. If you put them in while I'm still doing the video, then I can answer it. Otherwise, I'll just go back and answer them for you. So the next reason why I choose keto, the ketogenic approach, is because of brain fog and the ketones. So brain fog was huge for me, and I don't think I realized just how bad it was until like it all kind of cleared away. When it cleared away the cobwebs, the ketones are really, really good at helping attack the brain fog and really get you thinking clearer and sharper, and it improves your ability to remember any memory issues that you may be having, your word recollection, your I don't know if this has happened to you guys, but I know that I would be in the middle of a sentence and I would completely forget what I was talking about. And at the time, I was working with clients at my job, and I would be doing trainings, or I'd just be trying to walk them through something in the software, and I would just flat out stop mid-sentence, forget everything I was talking about, and the client would actually have to remind me. So it was bad. It was really bad. And I didn't really realize that nutrition played such a big role in that. But it really does. And so the clearing of the brain fog was huge for me. That, combined with the energy, is really what I told you, gave me the motivation to change. So it was really, 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 really good for me. It helped me at work. It helped me start getting this business going, and it's also helping me now in school. I'm able to pay attention throughout class. I'm able to process the information clearly. I'm able to remember it. I'm doing really good because of it. So it's still continuing to benefit me after all this time. So it's not something that goes away. One thing I do want to note is that when you have like imbalanced sex hormones and stuff like that, the brain fog might not completely clear until you're balanced, but you will still see a huge improvement, and it'll totally be worth it. The third reason, this is the fourth reason, is because it's an anti-inflammatory diet. So basically what you're doing is you're using the whole foods ketogenic approach to remove inflammatory foods such as highly processed carbohydrates, sugar, corn, grains, really any kind of even complex carbohydrate, because it all breaks down into sugar, right? So whether you're having a simple sugar or a complex carbohydrate, it still breaks down, no matter what, it still breaks down to sugar. And really, because of that, it still can raise your insulin, and it can still cause inflammation. So reducing your inflammatory foods and lowering your insulin reduces inflammation. And this is really good for people that have autoimmune diseases, because really autoimmune diseases, depression, headaches, allergies, joint pain, high cholesterol, all of or digestive issues, because that means you have inflammation in your body. And so when you're choosing to eat in a way that's anti-inflammatory, removing the foods that cause inflammation, it's really going to help keep your autoimmune disease calmer, and really it's key in in balancing your hormones. So inflammation can also affect that. Also, what's important is when your inflammation is low, it allows your, like I said earlier, actually, it allows your body to focus on repairing and rebalancing everything that's going on inside you. So the anti-inflammatory properties of this diet is really, really key to helping you feel better and really like helping with your digestive issues and a lot of the symptoms that you're experiencing. It really helps with. So I definitely, if you have an autoimmune disease, you might want to look into doing a ketogenic diet. I do want to note one thing that, like I had said before, there are a bunch of different ways to do the ketogenic diet. There are ways that are extremely healthy and ways that are not very healthy, because think about it. You can do a high fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrate diet by eating nothing but like hot dogs and, you know, sausage, and I'm not saying don't eat those things, but people can choose really unhealthy options and it will still kind of do a little bit what they want it to do, but you're not going to heal. You're not going to lose a lot of the inflammation and stuff like that. So there's a healthy way to do it, and choosing to do it in a very healthy way where you're not consuming a diet heavy in omega-6 fats, which you're going to find in your highly refined oils, like your seed oils, your canola oils, your vegetable oils, stuff like that, because omega-6 is very inflammatory as well. So it's important that that you do it right. So I just want to be clear with that, because I don't want people to think that they can just go and eat a high-fat diet, a low-carb diet, and be great, because it doesn't work that way. You've got to eliminate the foods that are causing the inflammation and causing some of the issues that you're having. And I promise you, you won't even miss it. You won't miss them. Definitely not. You might miss sugar at first, and sugar is inflammatory as well. You might miss sugar at first, but after a short amount of time, you won't. So that's actually a really good reason too. That's not one of my reasons, but kicking the sugar habit is really, really good for your health, and it's really, really good for your cravings. And then my last reason is, and I kind of said this a little bit before, but it allows your adrenal glands and your hormones to begin to heal. So high carb diets, they cause the adrenal glands to secrete more cortisol, more adrenaline, and more norepinephrine, which is not what we want in really any stage of adrenal fatigue, whether you're in the stressed and wired stage or you're in the stressed and tired stage. Either one, you do not want to be doing things that are going to stimulate the secretion of the hormones that are already raging through your body or that have already crashed, because it's really just going to make things worse for you. And if you're in the stressed and wired stage, you could easily come back from that. Not easily. You can come back from it easier. But if you continue doing what you're doing and you continue consuming a high carbohydrate diet, then guess what? You're going to end up in the stressed and tired group, and that takes a lot longer to come back from. I know, because that's where I was the stressed and tired. So I'm actually going to do a 2-part video series about that, the stressed and wired and stressed and tired. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to do the stressed and wired one next week. So I'm really excited for that. I think it's going to be a really good video. It's going to help a lot of you. And then part 2 will be the stressed and tired. And that's going to help the other group, because there's like 4 stages of adrenal fatigue. And depending on where you're at will depend on what your symptoms are and really how far you need to go to heal, to come back from that. So when the when the adrenals are not being stimulated with all the carbs, the body can focus on producing your sex hormones rather than cortisol. So it helps you balance your hormones, because I've talked about in some of my other videos of the pregnenolone steal, and what your body will do is pregnenolone is used to make your progesterone and your testosterone and your estrogen, and along with other things. And so when the body, and it's used to produce your cortisol. So when you are constantly having high levels of cortisol pumping, your body's trying to keep up with it. What it does is it steals that pregnenolone that should have made your progesterone, and it uses it to make cortisol. So that's why you end up having imbalanced sex hormones. So by keeping your carbohydrates low and not constantly causing your adrenals to secrete cortisol, then it can actually focus on producing the hormones, your sex hormones that you need. And like I said, balanced hormones make a huge difference in how you feel. So super important. And again, it helps people who have autoimmune diseases, because unbalanced hormones can exacerbate autoimmunity. So this way of eating can really benefit you if you've got, ulcerative colitis, or you've got Hashimoto's, or rheumatoid arthritis. There's so many, but it can definitely help you. So definitely something I recommend looking into. And basically the truth is that in order to have balanced thyroid hormones, balanced adrenal hormones, balanced sex hormones, then you really need to cut back on the carbohydrates and consume really healthy fats and quality proteins. I truly believe this. I've seen it in my own life. I have seen it in people that I love in their lives. I've seen it in people in Facebook groups I belong to. It's just really been incredible, and that's why I use this as a tool, as a piece of the puzzle with my clients, because it just has so many benefits, and the beauty of it is you can tweak it. So the most common macro percentages that people are given for the ketogenic diet is 70% fat, 20% protein, and 10% carbohydrates. But the thing is that's not going to be across the board for everybody. Some people need more protein because they work out, they have more muscle, they body build, they lift weights, whatever it may be. Some people need a little more carbohydrates, depending on their hormones. Certain hormone imbalances, you need just a little bit of carbohydrates, a little more carbohydrates. Some people do better with less. Women that are in menopause, they do better with less carbohydrates because they don't have the the crazy hormones and stuff. So that's what I do with my clients, is I tailor it to their needs. We're constantly tweaking based on the results that they're getting. This is what I love helping people with. I'm so passionate about this, guys. Not just the diet, but overall the program. My Adrenal Reboot program is specifically meant to incorporate the diet, the ketogenic approach as one of the puzzle pieces, and then I bring in a bunch of other pieces to put together the puzzle. It's what I love doing. It's what I love helping people with. When my clients get results and they're feeling better and they're so enthusiastic about it, it's just the best in the world, and I just love doing it. So if you guys have any questions, please put them in the comment box. I would love to hear them. And if this is something that you're interested in learning more about, maybe you want to really drill down and see what's keeping you stuck, what's keeping you from healing, and really what you need to do to move forward. I'm going to include a link to my calendar, so you can go on there and book a free mini coaching session with me where we'll get clear on, like I said, what you're struggling with, what your goals are, what you want your life to look like, and how you can get there. So I thank you all so very much for watching. This was actually a very long video, one of the longest I've done, but as you can see, I'm very passionate about it. And I just hope that you all have a great rest of your Thursday and a beautiful weekend, and I will talk to you all next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.